All right, we woke up to a breaking news story that perfectly shows how much of a failure this administration is, how much of an evil human being Vladimir Putin is, and how the failure of this administration creates the permission structure for Vladimir Putin to be even more and more evil. Let's just start here. The president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, tweeted out early in the morning, as of now, 31 people are known to have been killed in Sumy by the Russian ballistic missile strike. Among those killed were 2 children. My condolences to the families and loved ones. More than 84 people have been wounded, including 10 children. All of them are receiving the necessary assistance. It is crucial that the world does not stay silent or indifferent. Russian strikes deserve nothing but condemnation, but we'll probably not even hear anything coming out of the Trump White House. They will be silent. In fact, they'll probably secretly lower sanctions or any sort of trade barriers with Russia while increasing trade barriers on the rest of the world. This says there must be pressure on Russia to end the war and guarantee security for people. Without truly strong pressure, without sufficient support for Ukraine, Russia will continue dragging this war out. It is now the second month that Putin has been ignoring the U.S. proposal for a full and unconditional ceasefire. Unfortunately, there in Moscow, they are convinced that they can keep killing with impunity, and they can because Trump is not holding anyone accountable. Let me show you this clip from my Jubilee debate where I make the exact point to MAGA conservatives that Trump is getting tricked. We filmed this a month ago, and this still rings true.
Can I debunk the idea that Biden was less strong on Russia? Russia was frozen out of the global order for the past 3 years. Nobody would talk or meet with Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin was literally pushed out. They were shutting him.
Yes.
Trump has already brought him back into the fold. And what has he gotten? Trump has gotten tricked by Putin. Trump stopped sharing intelligence, U.S. intelligence with Ukraine. You remember that happening a few days ago, right?
Keep going.
Right when Trump stopped sharing U.S. intelligence with Ukraine. Say yes, that happened, right?
Keep going.
Just say yes, that happened.
No, but just keep going. I'm trying to hear you out here because I have something I want to say.
Putin took advantage of that opportunity to push forward. He literally made Trump look like an idiot. Trump stopped intelligence sharing. Putin took advantage of that. Off the back of that, he killed hundreds of Ukrainians. So the idea that Putin is negotiating in good faith is dumb. The idea that we should have a cordial relationship with Putin, who his entire existence is antithetical to the West, to our ideals. Putin's to his very core. If you did surgery and looked into this guy's heart, he's just anti-Western.
Look at the way Zelensky came into the Oval Office. One, this is something that I kind of take to heart. He comes in and he's not even wearing a suit. He's not coming in showing respect to these individuals. He's making jokes with the conversation with Trump.
Zelensky is an elected official.
And so it's like this guy, not just an actor politically, he literally is an actor. His background is an actor.
Number one, so
he's
is Trump.
putting on a show throughout.
So is Ronald Reagan's, by the way.
So is Trump as a reality show guy, but does it equally bother you when Elon Musk leads a cabinet meeting with a baseball cap on and a meme t-shirt that says I am become meme, whatever the hell it said? Does that bother you equally? He's leading a cabinet meeting?
Elon Musk is not the governor a president of a nation.
But you just said that it's
These people are insufferable, and they will constantly run defense for Russia, for Vladimir Putin, while also saying, hey, I'm not explicitly pro-Putin. I don't support the guy. Then all of their talking points are virtually identical to the talking points that come out of the Kremlin. Now, I'll play another clip from that debate. I think that perfectly wrapped into what's happening now, because today, just listen to this. Today, this exact type of game continues, and it's disgusting. So the U.S., quote, demands control from Ukraine of key pipeline carrying Russian gas. Senior Kyiv economist describes latest position of Trump administration and talks of, quote, colonial-type bullying. And that's what the Ukrainian admin is calling it. They're saying that Trump and the people around him are doing a colonial shakedown. And here's the thing. Trump, over the past month, has tried to get energy from Ukraine. He tried to get a mineral deal from Ukraine that they called, quote, blackmail. And all while this is happening, Vladimir Putin has taken advantage of Trump's naivete and killed more Ukrainians. This article from early this morning, the story that I'm talking about, Russian strikes on northeastern Ukrainian city of Sumy kill 32 in deadliest attack this year. So it seems like that number has been updated from the 31 that Zelensky tweeted out just a few hours back. So the death toll is continuing to update, and Trump is just trying to shake Ukraine down. Even this article from a month ago, which I was referencing in that debate clip, is just disgusting. As U.S. stops sharing intel, Russia hits Zelensky's hometown, killing 4. Yet Trump will not stick up to him. And let me explain why in this clip.
Trump has a unique form of narcissism where he's attracted to powerful people. If you guys think he's not narcissistic, you guys are way behind us right now.
I think every politician's narcissistic.
Trump has a unique.
I think he's exceptional.
Trump has a unique form of narcissism where he's attracted to powerful people. You can see this when he talks about his love letters with Xi Jinping or Kim Jong-un, or when he talks about Vladimir Putin. He comes up with nicknames for Trudeau, but what's his nickname for Putin? He has no nickname for Putin. This proves my point. This dude plays soft
Nicknames?
with Putin. Yeah, Trump's
that's what it's about. I mean, you could say the same thing about Kim Jong-un. He calls
Isn't Trump's whole shtick coming up with nicknames for Trudeau, or he calls Newsom, quote, new scum, yet Putin doesn't get a nickname?
him Rocket Man.
We're
Kim
talking about
Jong-un's
Putin right now. We're
relatively
talking about
powerful.
Putin right now.
Okay, the one person he doesn't have a nickname for, same with Xi Jinping.
Because
but
he has
nothing about Rocket Man.
Because he's attracted to power. Vladimir Putin is a source of narcissistic supply for Trump, and Zelensky has that lack of supply. So he feels like he can demean him. He feels like he can deride him in the Oval Office because he views Zelensky as weaker than Putin. This is how Trump operates. I would love to think that Putin has some sort of dirt on Trump, but that's not what it is. Trump has a narcissistic brain, and he's attracted to Putin. But if I can just say one more thing.
Let's go.
I think that Donald Trump is only legitimizing Putin's imperial ambitions when he tries to give a peace deal or sign a peace deal with no security guarantees. This whole debate should center around security guarantees, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you can't sign a peace deal where the quote-unquote deal is, hey, I get half of your mineral resources. In return, you get no security guarantees. Now, the argument that conservatives are making is that in this deal, there are implicit security guarantees because maybe the U.S. will have a vested interest in protecting Ukraine and its minerals, but there are so many ways around that argument. Russia would very likely take over this Ukrainian territory and offer the same mineral deal so the U.S. just sits down and shuts up, and it would be terrifying. So as this is all happening, the U.S. is acting out and trying to shake down Russia for demand of a key pipeline. Sorry, I didn't really touch on this as much as I should have, but this is disgusting. While Ukraine is in the middle of a war, and while they're approaching the table in good faith, Russia, off the back of that, is killing tens and hundreds of Ukrainians, and what the U.S. does is not apply pressure on Putin, not do any of that. What the U.S. does is demand control of a crucial pipeline and demand that we own it in a move described as, quote, colonial shakedown. U.S. and Ukrainian officials met Friday to discuss the mineral deal, and Donald Trump wants Kyiv to hand over its natural resources, its pipelines, a bunch of minerals. Talks have become increasingly acrimonious, Reuters said. The latest U.S. draft is more maximalist than the original version that was rejected in February, which proposed giving Washington $500 billion worth of rare metals, as well as oil and gas, with nothing in return. Nothing whatsoever in return. And the argument the conservatives will make is, hey, we've given Ukraine hundreds of billions of dollars. Why don't we get anything in return? And you have to understand, we have not given them hundreds of billions of dollars. 80% of that has been in the form of old, stockpiled weaponry that was going to be thrown away anyways. And it's expensive to dispose of this weaponry. So instead of throwing it away, we send it to our allies who then get to use that to protect themselves. And that boosts American manufacturing jobs. Trump wants to boost manufacturing domestically. Hey, we are currently helping Ukraine fight off Russia and protect their citizens, and in the process, it helps us economically. It's a win-win-win-win-win, and conservatives are not too stupid to see that, but they're too caught up in Russian propaganda to see that, because I've debated conservatives who can pull a Russian talking point out of their ass with all of this nuance. They know the nuance of Gorbachev meeting with James Baker in 1994 and everything that happened in that conversation, but then they have no clue what Kyiv even is. So it's like, how do you guys selectively understand this war? Just to zoom out and wrap this all up, Trump is ceding ground to Vladimir Putin on a day-to-day basis because he's getting tricked. He's naive. Now, people in the comment section always disagree with me and say that, Adam, Trump isn't getting tricked. Vladimir Putin has clearly bought Trump off, but I disagree. If you look at Trump's actions, his policies, and even the words that he says, his actions are way more consistent with somebody who is incredibly narcissistic, a malignant narcissist who looks up to Vladimir Putin and views him as a source of narcissistic supply, as Vlad Vexler would say. So Trump thinks that Putin will genuinely cut a deal with him. Trump has repeatedly said, Putin, he's never cut a deal with me. Wait until he cuts a deal with me. He went back on Obama and Biden, but he would never do that to me. So Trump genuinely thinks that him and Putin have this special, unique relationship, and that's due to the amount of narcissism that he has. So the question is, how far can Putin push it until Trump realizes, holy shit, I've been totally duped. I don't think Trump has that level of self-awareness. Bill Maher would say he does, but Bill Maher also seems to be a little bit of a narcissist. So I'll leave it at that. Drop a like, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.